Dear love judges, this is my story. I remember the first time I met Vera. It was a quiet Tuesday evening, the kind of day that stretches lazily, offering no promises, no surprises. I met her at my favorite bar where I was having drinks with the guys. We talked and I found out she was someone who loved my companionship. At home, things had long since become very dull. Anna, my wife, moved through our house like a ghost. She is unemployed, so she is always at home. She cooked, she cleaned, she watched her shows and took care of our kids. But she didn't talk. Not to me, not in the way that mattered. We had been married for 8 years, and somewhere along the line, the conversations had dwindled, replaced by nods, sighs, and silence. We existed beside each other, like two strangers. So when I met Vera, it felt like I had been handed a lifeline. She was lively, curious, and she listened. She had a way of tilting her head when I spoke, of really hearing me. I told her I was married and all the problems I faced in my marriage. She offered companionship and gave me sweet advices for my loneliness. As time went on, I asked her to be my girlfriend. I thought she would reject the offer. Instead, she said yes almost immediately. She was single, so she didn't mind filling the space in my heart that felt empty. She said, as long as we're clear on what this is, friends with benefit only. We dated for 2 years. 2 years of love and laughter that I never experienced with my wife, or heard in my own home for so long that I had forgotten what it felt like. She never asked me to leave my wife, never pressed for more. She was honest from the beginning. I was so happy until one evening after work. She told me she found someone for herself, that our time together had come to an end. My stomach tightened. I had known this moment would come, had even convinced myself I was prepared. But I wasn't. Oh, I managed, forcing a smile. She studied me as if waiting for something. Approval? A blessing? My voice trembled while I asked her if she was happy. She nodded. And that was it. That was supposed to be the end. But it wasn't. At first, I told myself it was just habit, that I was just adjusting to the absence of something familiar. But as weeks passed and I saw her texting less, answering less, the weight in my chest grew. I didn't like this. I didn't like that she was slipping away. So I did what any man in my position would do. I found ways to bring her back. I reminded her of our inside jokes, sent her messages late at night when I knew she was thinking. I told her that she was making a mistake, that this new guy didn't know her like I did. He's not me, I said one evening when she finally agreed to meet. She sighed. That's the point. The words cut. I watched as she turned her phone over in her hands, checking the time. She had never done that before, not with me. You used to look at me like I was the only person in the world, I muttered. She frowned and said, I have to go now. I hated the way she was pulling away, hated the way she was becoming someone I could no longer reach. So I pressed harder. I told her that she was rushing into something, that she was chasing an illusion, that her new guy wasn't as good as he seemed. I made her question herself, made her hesitate. But the hesitation didn't last. Instead, she saw through it. You're gaslighting me, she told me one night, her voice calm but resolute. I see what you're doing. I opened my mouth to argue, but the words didn't come, because she was right. I had never wanted to hurt her, never wanted to manipulate. I had just wanted to keep her. But what I failed to realize was that she wasn't mine to keep. She pulled away after that. She stopped answering my calls, stopped replying to my messages. And slowly, she became someone I only knew through social media updates and secondhand stories. I watched her move on, watched as she posted pictures of a life that didn't include me. At home, nothing had changed. Anna still moved through the house, still watched her shows, still cooked our meals, never cared whether I was happy or sad. But now the silence felt different. It wasn't just empty, it was deafening. And for the first time in years, I was truly alone again. Dear love judges, what do I do? I miss Vera a lot. I am bored, lonely, and confused.